Continuing our player rankings of the lethal players coming back. Really enjoying this series. But now we're going on the defensive side of the ball and defensive backs that are returning in 2023. Number 5, Cooper DeJean, Iowa. He, according to Pro Football Focus, 85-plus grades in both coverage and as a run defender, which makes him one of the most Iowa cornerbacks ever in that he's really good in coverage, really good at stopping the run, which you're going to have to do a lot in the Big Ten. One of the, of course, Iowa's defense is not an issue at all, but I was surprised at how many of these dudes that are the better DBs coming back are in the Big Ten, given that, you know, I thought maybe it was going to be skewed more to the SEC, but Cooper DeJean, the first one on this list, really, really excellent tackler and a Kirk Ferentz player if there ever was one.
Yeah, I mean, shows you that they're well-rounded, I suppose, and can come up and hit guys the line of scrimmage and, you know, play a different style, but can be adaptable. He's certainly a guy that can do a little bit of everything. That's why he's a projected first-round pick next year. And, yeah, a terrific player on a defense that probably doesn't get the credit that it deserves just simply because we're too busy making fun of the offense and how putrid it's been. But that defense is what keeps him in every game. That defense is what keeps Kirk Ferentz his job, quite frankly, along with just longevity. But, yeah, he's a fun player and should have a big year.
Yeah. Number 4, Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. This was a true freshman last year. 6 interceptions, tied for the most among Power 5 corners. 29.2 passer rating allowed when they threw over to a true freshman in Benjamin Morrison. The defense will be built mostly around guys like this from Marcus Freeman in year 2. And when you think about this, he's probably going to be on this list again next year because a true freshman, a sophomore, Notre Dame's got 2 more years of this guy before he's NFL draft eligible. 6 INTs as a true freshman. That's Jalen Ramsey. Who was the guy at LSU, Garrett?
Honey Badger?
Honey Badger stuff that, like, you sit there and wait just 3 years, you know, now that you've got this guy. Benjamin Morrison, certainly cut from that same cloth. He is so good around the ball. You know, return pick 6s last year. Fantastic player. Really scary for everybody who's got to throw against him in Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, he adapted to making impactful plays in his college career pretty quickly. And, yeah, he's on all the various listings that you'd want. Top defensive players heading into next year, top players heading into next year, top secondary players heading into next year. I mean, he's a part of all of that. And, yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, it's a curious group, you know, with Freeman entering year 2 now. We know that they just completely botched the beginning of last season, but, you know, able to get their ducks in a row, it seemed like, throughout the rest of that after having a bit of a stumble out of the gates. But, yeah, he's a lot of fun and a terrific playmaker, good player.
Number 3, Kalyn King from Penn State. Overshadowed a little bit by his teammate Joey Porter Jr. last year, but this was one of the best position groups in the country. Was just a sophomore, heads into his junior year, draft eligible, 18.3 passer rating allowed last year, 15 forced incompletions in single coverage.
I watched Penn State a little bit more last year than I did probably in a long, long time. What were they, 11-2? And they have like an 11-2 record. I liked him. I like his length. I just, you know, over the year, I was like, there's kind of sometimes, and I'm not an X's and O guy. I'm not a film guy, but sometimes players just stand out to you, whoever you are, whatever you look for, and he was absolutely one of them a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know how people completed passes against Penn State last year. I think part of their Penn State's problem was their offense last year. It wasn't really so much their defense most of the time, and we'll see if that changes this year with Drew Aller and the running back now blanks me. Is it Noah Robinson? Is that him? Whatever. Yeah, I'm blanking on it. But they have a good running back who's a true freshman last year as well that they're really excited about. And here, Kalyn King entering into his junior year. Number 2, 5-star prospect, true freshman last year at Michigan, Will Johnson, 91.1 grade according to PFF. In man coverage, led all corners in the Power 5, 2 interceptions in man coverage. But this is someone who really fits what Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines are doing on defense. 6'2", long, big corner in the, you know, Patrick Surtain, Richard Sherman mode. curious to see what his ascendancy is, but this is a guy who will have, especially with some of the new offenses in the Big Ten, a lot more to do. They're going to be, whipping the ball around at him this year, or presumably maybe not. But he's a shutdown corner, and again, much like the number 4 on the list, Benjamin Morrison, a guy that we'll see for another 2 years in college football in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, the quick return on investment on your 5-star talent. I mean, that's what you go and get 5-star talent for, is for them to come in and be stars and be playmakers for you right away. And Will Johnson certainly fit that bill for Michigan. So he answers a question for them, and there's others that they have answered as well. But that's certainly one spot, at least, that you're not worried about. What happens here? You're worried about, more the opposite side. And, he's a surefire NFL trajectory and type of talent. And so, fun watching him get started and, see where he can take it, as they, knocked right there on the door last year of the semifinals, and just unfortunately ran into a TCU team that was, a little bit pluckier and a little feistier, and just able to make a couple more plays than they were able to. But, he's a good one.
Yep. Number 1, this should come as no surprise to anybody, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. Excellent punt returner as well as the best cornerback. Was a true sophomore last year, will be a junior. This guy's going to be probably projected as a top 10 pick if he repeats this first 2 seasons. I also, great nickname. I wish Alabama would nickname everybody in the secondary after a sugary drink. Like they could have, Crystal Light Jones and Hawaiian Punch Davis. But
Hawaiian Punch Davis actually sounds like it would work. I mean, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but Kool-Aid McKinstry, dangerous guy. Number 1 on the Elite the list, and not only just covering receivers, but an excellent punt returner as well.
Yeah, or as somebody, Sir blah, 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 his brother Tang.
Yeah.
God, remember those days. Is that even in existence anymore? Tang is? Okay. I just don't see it. I guess I'm not shopping around those areas.
Okay, so in HEB, what they do now is they have the little things you squirt in the water bottle.
Yeah.
And they have Tang and Hawaiian Punch and Crystal Light. I think those are the ones I've mentioned. There's tons of other stuff. Mio, those deals. That's where you find them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the flavor drops.
Great player.
Water.
Is he the one that picked off a pass, and it was against LSU, Garrett? Who was it against? He intercepted a pass that would have sealed the game, but then it got called back because of pass interference, maybe on somebody else that was a part of the play.
I honestly don't remember that one.
That wasn't against LSU.
I don't think that was against LSU.
Okay. All right. And maybe it was during the game against Georgia. In a